Now joining us live from the event is our colleague Sarah Sapsanamma. How is it looking at the event, Sarah?
Good morning, Samriddhi, and good morning to our esteemed viewers watching us on the television. I am here at Solti Hotel in the capital, where Sagarmatha Sambaad, the much-touted government's program on climate-related issues, is about to commence. As you can see in my background, there's a hall where the event is going to take place, and we are actually awaiting the arrival of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, who is going to inaugurate the event, and that will commence discussion on 5 thematic issues related to climate and pressing national and global issues of the current moment. Altogether, 5 themes will be discussed in this 3-day event, which will culminate into the declaration of the Sagarmatha Declaration. To quickly invite to Kantipur News right now, we have Mr. Manjit Thakal, who is a climate expert and also advisor to Minister of Forests and Environment. Welcome to Kantipur News, sir. How intense has the preparation been?
So, for the last few months, this has been quite on a focus for Nepal to prepare for the Sagarmatha Sambaad as one of the flagship event in Nepal, led by the Prime Minister's Office, Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Forest and Environment, and as a multilateral but as a permanent forum as well. So this is also a forum where Nepal has attempted to showcase what it has done in terms of the climate change to the international community, also promote what Nepal wants to contribute in terms of the multilateral process and the diplomacy. So we are very much looking forward for the next 3 days.
So these 3 days, how do you think the event is going to unfold, how the discussions are going to take place? What are the key issues that we are going to table?
So the theme for the Sagarmatha Sambaad is, as we see here in the banner, the climate change, mountain and the future of the humanity. So much focus obviously will be on the climate change, but also looking from the context of the mountain community. And when we say mountain, it doesn't only restrict on the mountain, the impact that we feel in the downstream community, but it goes beyond, because the melting of the glaciers and the ice sheet also contribute to the sea level rise, which brings a big question to the community who are staying in the island far away from us. So this has been presented as an inclusive forum where the world can come together and discuss about the solution to the climate change, but again putting in the center the future of the humanity and the future generation.
What do you think is the expected outcome of this event?
So the team has already started working on a declaration, a Sagarmatha Sambaad Kathmandu declaration, which will also bring together many of the initiatives that were held in past, but also there are few new programs or new initiatives that are expected to be launched here based on the 3 days of the discussion. So the session today will start with the opening statement from Right Honourable Prime Minister and few dignitaries. Then we will have a round table among the ministers, the country delegates who are there, and then we will start with a parallel session. I will myself be moderating the first parallel session that is focused on how important it is to limit the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees. So all of this session will be contributing to the declaration, and we are very much looking forward for that.
This was definitely a much looked after event because it took years, being pushed because of the COVID pandemic as well. Do you think this is going to lay the foundation for future climate dialogues?
Yes, very much. So in a global context, I'm myself engaged more on a multilateral process, supporting the least developed countries at the global platform. And many of these kind of international events that are held are being led by the advanced countries, rich countries, or the countries whose emissions are even much higher. So Nepal has presented this as an example, a country with even a very significant contribution to the global greenhouse gas emission as a cause for climate change, and a country who is in the front line of climate crisis can also lead and can also bring the world together to discuss about the climate solution. So we all are here to support this initiative and looking forward that this will make an impact also in the global multilateral process.
Now, as we attempt to limit our global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, every country has had their own climate goals. But there's a big concern of the resources, the gap in resources. How do you think this dialogue will help us bridge the resource gap?
Exactly. So there are both sides of the coin. One, from what we came from the past, there is a benefit in terms of limiting the global warming, and that relates with an example of if the the emission and the emission reduction and the development can also go hand in hand, and that has been proved by Nepal as well, as our source of energy is clean. We have done much in terms of promoting the electric vehicle in the Kathmandu, or a conservation of forest, which is over 46% of the country total area. So this has already been proved by Nepal. But as you rightly said, there is a big concern because the finance, the support that has to be mobilized by the international community is not adequate, and that has been a big concern. And I also very much look forward that this conference, this international summit, will help to elevate the voice of the most vulnerable country in terms of the need of support that the international community has an obligation to provide.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you. That was Mr. Manjit Akal, climate expert and also advisor to Minister for Forest and Environment. We are at Salty Hotel, and it seems by the rush behind me, Prime Minister, Right Honourable Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is about to arrive to the event, who is going to inaugurate, and discussions, parallel discussions will take place. 4 discussions have been scheduled for the day, and throughout the 3 days, 12 discussions will take place, with an expectation that the participant countries will come up with solutions and ideas to tackling with the climate-related issues, the pressing issues of our time. Samriddhi.
All right, Sarah, what significance does Sagarmatha Sambaad hold for Nepal and the participating nations?
It, I think, couldn't be more fitting than for a country like Nepal, which is home to Mount Everest, which is Sagarmatha in our local language, to be hosting an event like this, because the most pressing issue of our time is climate change, and our mountains and our people have been bearing the brunt of global warming for many years now. We can see so many extreme weather events happening where hundreds of people have lost their lives so far, and properties worth millions have been damaged as well. Not just the tangible damages, there are intangible damages and effects of climate change. And I think it's more fitting for a country like ours to host an event like this, where we bring along countries that have been bearing the brunt. Our country, as we all know, has negligible contribution to the global greenhouse gas emission in total, but has been bearing the most impact, which means we need to represent countries like ours and as we say, polluters pay principle, bring to the table countries that have been polluting the most, and make sure that our resource constraints are met and that we can reach our climate goal. When we talk about this event, the non-participation of heads of state of many countries, more than 350 states representatives were invited, but less than, a little over half in fact, are attending this event. So there's a question about the credibility of the event. But having said that, we can definitely not discount the fact that the successful organizing of this event is an achievement as well, and it hopefully will lay a groundwork for future climate talks as well. So in that sense, it's a significant event for a country like Nepal. Samriddhi.